What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the CotAcasT. My name is Bermudez, and I'm the host of the Craft of the Air podcast, the aviation podcast for industry experts and curious enthusiasts alike. Join us as we explore the latest breaking news, in-depth industry studies, and educational insights from the untold world of aviation. I am so glad that you guys are tuned in for another episode of the CotAcasT. Guys, it's going to be, we're digging in. We're digging in to the latest developments in the airline industry, which is including significant moves made by airlines globally to improve their services. And this ranges from the addition of new jobs, the introduction of new routes, the overhaul of loyalty programs, amongst other things. But we'll also examine, very interesting, check this out, listen very carefully. We also examine how airlines generate income from sources beyond ticket sales, beyond what we pay to get on an airplane, and how these revenue sources have impacted the airline industry, from cargo to ancillary services, loyalty programs, partnerships. We explore how airlines make money and how these have become essential to their business models. And I asked you, the listener, how do you think you've contributed to the success of your airline? Whether it's the airline that you work for or your favorite hometown airline, whatever the case may be. How have you contributed to their success? Knowingly or unknowingly? What you hear may surprise you. First things first, today's episode of the CotAcasT is brought to you by Craft of the Air. Not understanding or don't have enough time to study your aviation maintenance content? Are you in the field of aviation and tired of searching endlessly for unreliable data online? Well, Craft of the Air is the second you when you need it. A consultant by Coda has resources that will excel any aviation project, and they take a personalized approach to each client's needs by offering advice regarding innovative solutions and content to help you make confident decisions. The FAA licensed professionals and the aviation knowledge experts get it from Coda. Are you an A&P student? Test your airman's knowledge before the federal A&P license exams, or expand your aviation maintenance knowledge. Cram by Coda offers aviation maintenance learning solutions that can support and help you with your training school, FAA, and career exams. It's tailored for you by a certified A&P subject matter expert. Visit www.craftoftheair.com. Again, that's www.craftoftheair.com, and get your free initial consultation today. Craft of the Air, our craft is of the air. So now I'll take you through this rundown. You got to listen very carefully. So many things happened this week. It was crazy. A bustling week at the airports and airlines across the globe made significant moves to improve their services. Now we begin in the United States. Listen carefully. There's no editing on this. One take. In the United States, major airlines such as American, Delta, United, they all announced a combined addition. Listen to this: 2,544 jobs, over 2,500 jobs just in the month of March. Now, this decision to add jobs was really made in response to the increasing demand for air travel, as more people return to the skies after the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, meanwhile, United Airlines also announced an increase in their flights to Hong Kong. This is going to be starting in August. Now, this move came after the airline had been seeing a surge of demand for travel in the bustling Asian city, making it a priority for the airline. JetBlue also made headlines as it announced its completion of the JetBlue program overhaul, the True Blue program. This True Blue program, it includes like rewards for customers with points for travel purchases. Now, this revamped program, it includes features such as no blackout dates, unlimited points, and better flight redemption rates. So it's interesting. In addition, some U.S. airlines unveiled their exclusive invite-only elite tiers, offering extra benefits to loyal customers. That is primarily for customers who spend the most on travel. Now, these benefits would include things like early boarding, guaranteed seating, complimentary food and drinks. Yum, yum, yum. Now, moving outside the United States, Ryanair, Europe's largest low-cost airline, they invested significantly into its fleet. They ordered 75 Boeing 737 MAX. Yes, let's go. The order was a vote of confidence in the controversial model. Obviously, the grounding the 737 MAX for over 20 months following the two fatal crashes. Moving on, Chinese airline China Airlines also announces purchase of 8 additional Boeing aircraft, but not MAXes. They're Dreamliners, 787-9 Dreamliners. This is part of China Airways, part of its ongoing fleet expansion and modernization strategy. The airline has been focusing on expanding to long-haul routes to Europe and North America. SpiceJet unveiled its plans to reintroduce 25 aircraft back into its fleet. This is increasing its capacity in operations in India. This move came after the airline struggled due to the pandemic and showed its determination really to bounce back, I'd say. Now, we move on to the UK. In the UK, British Airways revealed its sad fleet plans for 2023, which included, unfortunately, retiring all of its Boeing 747 aircraft, and they're replacing them with more fuel-efficient Airbus A350s. The airline also planned to add more 787 Dreamliners to its fleet. Moving on to LATAM Airways, they announced really good news, a profitable quarter in South America with passenger revenue increasing significantly. The airline had been struggling due to the pandemic and had undergone a restructuring, process to improve its operations, and they really cut costs. Moving on to Asia, Malaysia Airlines, they also turned a significant, I would say, a good year, but when we look at the numbers, it was a loss in 2022. But they picked it back up. And in 2023, we have profit thanks to its efforts to restructure and cut costs. The airline have been grappling with financial woes for years, and really the turnaround was a welcome relief. Finally, Turkish Airways had made their headlines, and as it achieved $2.7 billion in profit in 2023. This was thanks to innovative strategies and investments. The airline had been focusing on expanding its network and improving customer experience. It really helped to make it become really one of the most profitable airlines in the world. Now, we wrap up the aviation rundown where we hear about specific examples of airlines taking significant steps to improve their services in response to the evolving demand of travelers, and it includes adding jobs in response to the increasing demand for air travel, expanding flight routes to meet specific marketing needs, such as United Airlines doing increasing flights to Hong Kong, and the overhauling and enhancing of loyalty programs to offer better rewards and benefits to customers. We saw that with JetBlue. Now, while airlines continue to they're embracing innovation, adaptability, and the customer-centric approaches to thrive in the ever-changing industry landscape. They work, but it's expensive. We look at all of this. Expansion, buying new aircraft, hiring hundreds of employees. And we ask the question, how do airlines maximize revenue opportunities beyond just traditional ticket sales? How do they make money? How do airlines expand their networks and invest in modernization and efficiency? what you're about to hear may surprise you. Now, we know airlines, they play a crucial role in the global economy. They connect people and businesses worldwide. And while their primary function is to provide flights, airlines, they generate income from so many various sources beyond ticket sales. Now let's explore the fundamental ways airlines generate revenue and their impact on the industry. For one of the first things, and it always comes to mind, you picture your aircraft full of passengers, and many people don't know that ultimately that aircraft may one day be stripped of all its seats and be used as cargo. Yeah, cargo is a significant income for as a source for airlines. It contributes for around 12% of the total airline revenue. Now, particularly during periods of reduced passenger demand. For example, American Airlines reported a 25% increase in cargo revenue in 2020, while passenger revenue fell by 65%. This was due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many airlines were able to utilize their aircraft by taking seats off the aircraft to increase cargo space. And once this aircraft has gone through its life, you're going to have to go back and listen to the previous episode of CotAcasT, the jet life, baby. But once this aircraft has gone through a service life as a passenger commercial airliner, it could eventually be purchased by another company and be used for cargo. Now, we see, airlines, auxiliary services, they also generate, income, baggage fees, seat upgrades, in-flight meals, entertainment options, and these things are not included in ticket prices. Ticket prices. They could, they're chosen or paid for by the passengers. Now, in 2019, the top 10 airlines, they earned the combined, get this, wait for it, $58 billion from these separate services. This is according to IdeaWorks company. Now, loyalty programs are another essential revenue source for airlines. These programs, they allow passengers to, accumulate points or miles when they fly, and they can be redeemed for flights and other rewards. The airlines, they generate revenue by selling these points to banks and other companies, and which they use them as incentives to attract customers. Yeah. Delta Airlines reported an 8% increase in revenue just from its loyalty program in 2019. Now, and partnerships and alliances, they'll contribute to these to the overall incomes. The agreements enable the airlines to share routes, resources, marketing efforts, and they increase the revenue for all parties involved. For instance, I'll hit you with it. In 2020, United Airlines and American Airlines, they announced a partnership to expand their flights and destinations, and this greatly enhanced their networks and their customer base. Now, we look at other ways that airlines make money, and really leasing or selling the aircraft is an option, a source of income for airlines, primarily when it's aimed to expand their fleets or replace, the older aircraft. The global market for used commercial aircraft, it was actually valued at $2.5 billion in 2020. This is as per the Aircraft Fleet Recycling Association. And in addition to these revenue sources, airlines have made increasingly turned to credit card reward programs as a significant portion of income. By charging banks and credit card companies for co-branded credit cards, airlines earn revenue by allowing customers to accumulate points or miles wherever they purchase. The top 10 U.S. airlines, they earned $29 billion in credit card revenue in 2019. This is surpassing their ticket sales, their ticket sale revenues from that year. The top 10 airlines made $28 billion in ticket sales in 2019. And they earned $29 billion in credit card revenue. It's just American Airlines. Their loyalty program, including its co-branded credit card, it generated $6.4 billion in 2019, accounting for over a quarter of its total revenue. And credit card reward programs, they benefit airlines beyond revenue generation. They foster brand loyalty and customer retention. It's these programs, they help to fill seats and generate demand during slower periods. And by offering bonus miles or points to cardholders who book flights at specific times, such as off-peak travel, seasons of weekend, traditionally lower demand, the airlines are diversifying their income streams beyond ticket sales to remain profitable and competitive. Now, it's interesting, but we spoke about the cargo and all these different ways, and of course, airlines have long relied on miscellaneous fees and hidden charges, but it's an increasingly crucial, I might add, an airline business model. But baggage fees in particular, one that we all, that comes to mind, are a significant source of revenue for the U.S. airlines. In 2019, U.S. airlines in the United States, they collected $5.1 billion in baggage fees alone. Pack the maleta tightly. You listening, David? According to the same result, that was actually up. If you look back 9 years previously at the year 2010, that was up $3.4 billion just in baggage fees. Now, in addition to baggage fees, airlines, they charge for seat selections, early boarding, priority access to security lines. These fees, oh man, they can quickly add up, especially for travelers who are already really, really, really paying for airfare. According to a survey conducted by Expedia, 55% of travelers believe the airlines are nickel and diming them with their fees. I just had this conversation with my girlfriend. They say, many travelers, they are though. I'm just being really real. Many travelers feel these fees are outrageous, they're unfair, and they're often hidden or not disclosed up front. Despite these concerns, the airlines rely on, these miscellaneous, revenue strategies, I'd say, to generate profit. In 2019 earnings call, American Airlines CEO Doug Parker, he stated, quote, "Ancillary revenue is really critical to our success," end quote. Similar, Delta Airlines CEO Ed Basin, he said, quote, the key to our success is our ability to offer a differentiated product, including a suite of ancillary products and services, end quote. Now, critics, of course, will argue that these fees are deceptive and are unfair to consumers, as they can be, challenging to understand. I have to be, and often not disclosed up front, I'd say. In response, and now I'd say in response to these concerns, the U.S. Department of Transportation, they actually introduced new rules requiring airlines disclose all fees associated with the ticket up front. So you better check that. I'm just saying. I'm just being really real. And now, despite these regulations, airlines, they continue to generate significant profits from these miscellaneous fees. As long as consumers are willing to pay for these fees, the airlines will likely continue to rely on them as sources of income. Now, I gotta wrap this up before I go on too much of a rant. Really, in conclusion, U.S. airlines, they'll generate significant portions from these miscellaneous fees and hidden charges. These fees, they include, the baggage fees, seat selection fees, charges for food, drinks on board. They become increasingly important parts of the airline's business models in the recent years. Now, while some consumers may find these fees unfair and deceptive, the airlines are going to continue to rely on them as sources of revenue. The airlines will continue to embrace innovation and adaptability and customer-centric approaches to thrive in a really ever-changing aviation industry. Airlines should, in my opinion, continue to explore and maximize revenue opportunities beyond traditional ticket sales. And they can do this while enhancing customer experience, while expanding their networks. By staying agile and customer focused, really customer focused, airlines, they can build loyalty, they can attract more passengers, achieve profitability in a really dynamic and complex market. Now, I ask the listener, how do you think you've contributed to the success of your airline? Knowingly or unknowingly? I gotta wrap it up right there. That wraps it up for this week's episode of the CotAcasT. If you have not done so already, you gotta check out the Craft of the Air website. It's really amazing. I can tell you, I made it myself. Check it out at www.craftoftheair.com. Again, that's www.craftoftheair.com, and get your free initial consultation today. Craft of the Air. Our craft is of the air. Comments or suggestions for this or future episodes, let's get in touch. Visit the www.craftoftheair.com website, go to contact, and put in the subject CotAcasT. Guys, thanks for listening to today's episode of the CotAcasT. Be sure to follow and subscribe to the Craft of the Air Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube channel for the latest CotAcasT episode updates and Craft of the Air news. And you can rate and review the CotAcasT. We're streaming now on Spotify, Apple, Prime, Pandora, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts. Guys, thanks again for listening. Have a great and safe day, and we'll be seeing you soon.